The people who dedicate their lives to helping others, they often don't have space or support to focus on their own well-being. And it's not just about the individual; it ripples into the families, their
Yeah.
relationships, and the communities.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Spartan Wellness Highlights segment. In this section, we'll focus on mental health and wellness, exploring challenges and sharing insights and discussing practical ways to support ourselves and others. Let's shine a light on the importance of mental health well-being together. I'm Riad. It's great to connect with you today. I'm a veteran of the Canadian Armed Forces, 24, just short of 24 years. But I'm not alone here. I'm joined today with JC.
Hi, everyone. I'm JC. Thanks for joining us. And for me, I also served 27 years in the Canadian Armed Forces. So I was a medic and then a PA. So I've seen firsthand really how mental health can shape everything. Shapes your relationship with yourself, with others, your work, everyday life, and overall happiness. It's something we really can't ignore, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we're here today, right, JC?
Hmm.
We want to have a real down to earth conversation about mental health. I think we both come from similar backgrounds in a sense as where we served and everything.
Yeah.
But we've both gone through our trials and tribulations, as a lot of us will say. And, it's something that affects us all. And so let's face it, right? Talking about it can be tough, but it's needed, right?
Yeah. And honestly, we get it. Life can be overwhelming. Whether you're a veteran, first responder, or juggling a million things, mental health often takes a back seat, but it doesn't have to.
Yeah, I agree with you, JC. We're all in this together. Let's talk about the challenges, sure, but also the hope and the wins and the little things. You can do to start feeling better today.
Yeah, absolutely.
When we talk about mental health challenges, especially for veterans, first responders, and frontline workers, it's like opening a door that's been locked way too long, right? And PTSD. I like to say PTSI. I like to personally think of it as more of an injury because it can be more of a better mindset, anxiety, depression.
Yeah.
These aren't just buzzwords. They're the real struggles, right? They're what many people, especially in these types of professions, are going through every single day.
Absolutely. And the thing is, it's not just about what happened on the job. It's what stays with them, what stays with us for long after the shift ends, long after service is over.
Yeah, the statistics are staggering. Studies are showing nearly 30% of first responders develop behavioral health conditions, including PTSD and depression,
Mm.
compared to just 10% of the general population, right? So it's definitely a real thing. And yet many don't seek, many of us, we don't seek help. Um, because of the stigma, or we don't want to let the team down. We got to tough it out type mentality.
Exactly. And it's heartbreaking because, the people who dedicate their lives to helping others, they often don't have space or support to focus on their own well-being. And it's not just about the individual; it ripples into the families, their
Yeah.
relationships, and the communities.
Hmm. Hmm. And that's why it's so important to shine a light on these issues. Just acknowledging that these challenges exist,
Yeah.
and talking about them openly can be a huge first step. It's about saying, you're not alone in this. It's okay to ask for help.
Yeah, and that's where we come in. Not to fix everything overnight, but we're here as a resource. We're a community and a place where healing can start, whether it's through counseling, peer support, or even just creating a space where someone feels heard. Every little step counts.
Yeah, no one should feel like they have to carry any this weight on their own, right? And I know we always talk about that, JC, is if you've served your country in a selfless way, we're here to support you. We're not we don't have an opinions, no judgment. We just want to help heal the warrior, right? And get it going from there.
Yeah. And if you're listening to this and thinking, oh, that sounds like me, or that sounds like someone I know, we want you to know that there's options and there's hope. It's never too late to take that first step.
Yeah, exactly. JC, let's talk about the stigma around mental health. One of the biggest hurdles we've come across, at least in my experience, is the stigma around mental health. And especially when you're a veteran, first responder, and frontline worker, it's like there's this unspoken rule that if you're one of those professions, one of those selfless warriors, you've got to be unshakable, like showing vulnerability is some kind of weakness, right?
Yeah, exactly. And that suck it up mentality, right? I mean, think about it. Those people who've been trained to stay calm under pressure, to push through the pain, to put others first. It's almost ingrained that asking for help is somehow means that, you're not strong enough. But the truth is, it takes way more courage to say, hey, I need some support than it does to pretend everything is fine.
Yeah, it's such a dangerous cycle. People like myself, we end up bottling things up. We think it's just going to go away, but instead, it builds and builds. And let's be honest, if you had a broken arm, you wouldn't just tough it out, right? You go see a doctor. So mental health is no different. It's just as important as physical health.
Yep, and we're here to help you, whether it's through Spartan Wellness or just pointing you in the right direction. Because at the end of the day, mental health is health, plain and simple.
JC, the hardest step I found was just taking that first step myself, right? And it was I was just in denial, right? And I just didn't want to accept it, whether it's making that phone call, opening it up to someone you trust, even admitting to yourself that you need help. It's tough, right? But it's also the most important step forward, toward feeling better.
Absolutely, Riad. And it's worth saying that no one has to do this alone. We're here to walk through the journey with you. We've built a community and system of support that designed, to meet people where they're at. It's not about forcing change overnight. It's, small, meaningful steps that and they'll add up.
It's really important to really work on mental health, and if I reflect back on myself, I was diagnosed in 2011 timeframe, and I remember it just took a long time for me to accept it. And like most of us, I went through a lot of struggles. I've always wanted to help people continue my service, after service. You know what I mean, JC? But I had really good people in my corner, right? Like Soldier On, Invictus. I always like to mention Jay Faco. He was a really big part of my recovery and helping me get out and take part in Soldier On events and so forth. And yeah, so it's really helped me. And then, we got Spartan going, and it was just about, really helping as many veterans, learning the struggles that I went through, that a lot of my peers went through, and then just trying to help them on a bigger scale right across Canada.
Yeah.
It's been my motivation. It's giving me my purpose to continue my service after uniform, for sure.
Yeah, and oddly enough, I was probably diagnosed around the same time, like early 2010, 2011, because I was on my PA course at the time, 2008 to 2010. And I was having trouble concentrating, and I thought, okay, my ADD is out of control. I was never diagnosed with ADD, but finally, after I graduated, and I'm like, I got to go get checked for ADD because this is so crazy. Like, I just can't concentrate. I'm, all out of whack. So it wasn't like a traditional PTSD where you have recurring dreams and nightmares and stuff like that. For me, it was just super weird the way it all started. But when I did go to a specialist, and they're like, yeah, you may have ADHD, but you have to deal with your PTSD first. And that's when I was like, what the heck are you talking about? And of course, I'm right up there. I'm one of those stigma guys. Like, I don't have that. Like, I'm way too tough for that. There's no way,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And but so, my journey of taking the first step, I don't find that it was the same as others, but it definitely, I was glad that I did, because in the end, the process that I went through, and I know so many people went through this the same, right? Like, there's so many appointments and medication and stuff, and it's frustrating, and people get frustrated with VAC, but a lot of times it's hard to advocate for yourself when you're that sick. And and found I that I wasn't that bad, and even then, still, just as I was released medically, I'm like, I went to the kids, or to the dentist with my kids, 3 kids. We go to the dentist. This is after I'm out now, right? And show up, and the lady at the front desk is like, "Yeah, you don't have coverage." I'm like, I didn't click that box as I was getting out. Like,
Yeah.
so for me, that was, I found a big gap for people that are getting out, that are ill. What's it called? APSU or whatever it is, where you go and they have nice check in the box as you're getting out, but still, once you're out, you're out. You might have a case manager with VAC, but it's just, it's different. Like, you still, some case managers are good, and some, you end up have to advocating for yourself. So it really depends, right? So ultimately, in the end, though, we're here, and so many of us that are part of Spartan Wellness have gone through this journey, and it makes a big difference, because we're able to understand what we're going through.
Yeah, no, you couldn't have said it better there, JC. And it's funny, you're right about the, because we served together in Croatia on Perfor, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And we served were we in Bosnia at the same time in '98?
yeah,
And then we were in Kosovo together.
yeah.
Uh, and then I don't know if we did Afghanistan together in '03 though, or whatever.
No, I don't think so. I think my first trip there was '05.
Yeah. So, you know, yeah, no, it's just, it's a small military. We're all pretty close together. We know people, know people, know people. And every little struggle, and especially the suicides, they all hit home for us.
Mm-hmm.
And well, JC, listen, it's been great. It's been great chatting with you. As we focus on mental health and wellness, this January, we'll bring you, a lot of meaningful conversations with individuals, organizations,
Mm-hmm.
and wellness experts, right? Together, we'll explore inspirational stories, actionable advice, and unique insights to illuminate the path toward mental well-being. Stay connected. We look forward to continuing this journey with you. Remember, mental health is a journey, one of progress, growth, and healing, not perfection. You're not alone in this. Your Spartan Wellness community is here to support you every step of the way.
Yep, that's true. And if you haven't already, be sure to check out our free webinar. It's called The 5 Keystones to Wellness, and it's packed with insightful tips to help you on your journey towards better mental health and overall well-being. Great things happen when we come together. So let's keep building a supportive and inspiring community. Until next time, take care and stay well.
Thank you for joining us today, Spartan Wellness Highlight Series. We hope you we hope you enjoyed this segment and found it inspiring. Remember, great things happen together. Let's continue building a supportive community, focus on mental health and well-being. Until next time, take care and stay well.